Hey, I'm meteorologist Doug Myers with the latest forecast heading into this Wednesday. This is going to be a relatively long video just because of the dangerous weather that we're expecting today with severe weather. So just stick with me, of course, subject to change on timing and severe weather parameters, but focusing a lot on the general trend of what's going to occur. So keep that in mind. Low to mid 80s yesterday, wind gusts around 50 miles per hour for many spots, even close to 55. That was our windiest day that we'll have. We could have some stronger winds today, but only with storms. I don't think we'll have these strong of winds, just generally speaking, without any storms. Temperatures today, I'd be careful about this. Temperatures in the 70s. However, especially in north central Kansas, that's the morning temperature because as rain begins to develop, could be as early as this morning, and as that cold front begins to push through the area, we will start to see that cooling trend through the day. So look at this, by noon, 50s for places like Marysville, Clay Center, Concordia, still mild in Manhattan and areas off to the east, but as we head into the afternoon hours by 5 o'clock, now we have 50s and 60s in our western communities, still out ahead of the front, very mild. Now, as long as you are east of that front, there is the risk for severe weather. And then as that cold front pushes through the area, that will decrease the severe weather risk. Most areas should be in the 50s and 60s by 8 o'clock. Still could have some 70s in places like Kansas City, Lawrence, Burlington, where the severe weather threat will be highest during that time. So we are looking at a pretty decent chance for severe weather, especially for this time of year. We are looking at all hazards possible, including a tornado or two. Need to pay close attention to the forecast today and pay close attention to the radar this afternoon. Very, very important. We could have some very dangerous storms in the area. I cannot stress that enough. Please be weather cognizant for today. Be weather aware. Here's a look at what to do. Obviously, keep checking back in for our newscast throughout the day today. Updates continuously on WIBW.com. Listen to your weather radio. Have that safety kit ready to go in your safe shelter. To take it down there now before the severe weather hits, so you're not trying to find it to bring with you if you do have to take shelter. Understand the forecast. We're always here to answer questions on social media. Email weather@WIBW.com if you have any questions. Please make sure you're actually reading the forecast discussion before you ask questions, because I notice this a lot. There's a lot of questions that are being asked that if you just read the forecast discussion, that answer is in there. Practice your safety plans. Talk with your family, especially if you have kids, on what to do. Very important because of school. As those line of storms push through the area, you may have to delay picking them up depending on where those storms are and how severe they are. Have multiple ways to receive warnings, making sure that the tornado siren or outdoor siren is not one of them. Yes, it can be a third one, but it should not be one of the two main ones. And prepare for anything, including power outages. So what are those ways to get warnings? Of course, your weather radio. Make sure that your battery is working. It's always a good time to check that anyway, because as we get close to daylight saving time ending, you always want to make sure that you're changing those batteries if needed when you're changing your clocks. The WIBW weather app. Have that ready to go, and of course we'll be live streaming in the afternoon as well, and of course on WIBW TV if we have to, if there is a tornado warning in place, and making sure that you are ready in case there are power outages. It's going to be cooler after today, so are you ready without any potential heat that you might need as we head into the next couple of days? So be aware of that. Wind gusts today, as I mentioned, will be closer to 40 miles per hour instead of 50 like yesterday, especially out ahead of the front with those southerly winds, and then not quite as windy behind the front as it pushes through the area. In fact, northwesterly wind tonight still could gust 25-30 miles per hour, and then early in the morning tomorrow for Halloween, a little bit breezy in the morning, but gradually weakening through the day, and much nicer conditions, especially by the afternoon. All right, so here's what we're looking at as far as the rain is concerned. We get a few spotty showers and non-severe thunderstorms in north central Kansas this morning, but the severe weather threat really begins to increase this afternoon. Now, this model has it going pretty good at about 1-2 o'clock. So as I showed you on the graphic at the very beginning, showing the best time frame between 3 and 9, it's still possible we could get storms earlier than 3. So just be aware of that. And then we'll continue with these line of storms pushing through the area. You can see by about 7:30, these storms in the Topeka area, probably getting close to Topeka around 6, 7 o'clock, and then continue to push eastward. Should be completely out of the area by midnight, probably a little bit earlier than that for our far eastern communities. Many spots getting at least a half-inch worth of rainfall, and some areas getting more than an inch of rain, according to that computer model, and showing other computer models indicating many spots getting at least a quarter-inch worth of rain, but also several areas that potentially could get more than an inch. We have to deal with those leaves on the roadways, so as that rain starts to fall, please make sure that you're using caution out on the roadways, especially if you're traveling over some leaves on those roads, making sure you give proper stopping distances as you're braking. Slow down, and please be safe. We'll get a chance to dry out Thursday and Friday, and then more rain starting Friday night, lasting through at least Tuesday. Right now I have Tuesday night, Wednesday dry, but there is one of 3 computer models that does have rain still continuing into Wednesday. But after today's 70s, we'll be generally in the 60s. Now, it could still get up near 70, especially on Sunday and Monday as we start to usher in a little bit higher humidity, and we start out in the upper 50s for lows. We could also have another round of severe weather on Sunday, so also keeping an eye on that too. How about rainfall-wise? How much can we get? So that's just for today into this evening with the European model. But adding on to what we're going to be getting throughout the weekend and early next week, and many spots getting 2 to 4, even 5, 6, 7 inches possible, especially as you see some of those blue colors showing up, the blue and purple colors. All right, so here's today into this evening, and then adding on to that, very heavy rainfall, at least somewhere in eastern Kansas. Whether or not it stays near I-35 in southeastern Kansas or at least impacts us a little bit, I would not be surprised if for the next 8 days there were some areas that end up getting 5 to 7 inches worth of rainfall, maybe even more than that. So, a wet weather pattern to round out the month of October and to begin November is expected. I still think temperatures overall are not going to be terrible as far as being very cold. They'll be about seasonal as we get into these next couple of days. But overall, our coldest temperature right now looks to be Friday morning and maybe a little bit next Wednesday morning with mid to upper 30s for lows. Patchy frost possible, but I don't expect to freeze. Please be safe today. We are looking at some dangerous weather, something that we don't typically get this time of year. So it's an extra precaution. Even if by chance we don't get severe weather and we don't get tornadoes, the heavy rain alone could cause concern and almost reduce visibility to almost near zero as that heavy rain is falling in some spots this afternoon, making way for very tricky traveling conditions. So even by that chance alone, with the heavy rain, even if we don't get severe weather, it's going to be some dangerous traveling conditions this afternoon with the storms pushing through the area. So stay safe and stay updated. We'll continue to keep you updated throughout the day.